objectives of educational athletics are what set this event apart from other levels of competition. Your cooperation and support are the values promoted by these.
All right, here we are, WCTV Game of the Week. I'm Doug Capella. To my right, Justin Ventline. And at first glance, you see 0-4 versus 4-0, and you think cakewalk. But I don't think that's going to be the case tonight, Justin.
Yeah, definitely a tale of two teams coming in tonight. Nolensville touting a 4-0 record, 1-0 in region play last week. And Franklin coming in looking for their first win of the 2023 season. But definitely a tougher schedule on the Admirals side of the ball. Taking on Centennial, who'll be a favorite in 5A this year. Taking an Independence to double overtime last week, and a tough game versus Franklin Road Academy right down the road from them as well.
Well, and we don't always like to connect the dots in football. You look at Independence took Page to triple overtime, and so then you want to equate. Okay, well, Page is ranked in the state. They're a good ball club. And so that must mean that Franklin, therefore, by proxy, because they've all played each other in overtime, must be good as well. And so it's kind of curious what team we're going to see. And you mentioned the toughness of their schedule, whereas Nolensville has kind of played, not to underscore Nolensville, but they've played kind of what we would call an early college football schedule.
Yeah.
They played the Austin Peay's of the world with a three-game stretch in Metro, and they won those games handedly. But it doesn't matter now. The game is underway. The kickoff up, and they are on the 35 where Franklin will take over, and Nolensville will be on defense.
So Brewer Wilson will lead the Admirals out here. Looks like Sean Gaka in the backfield. Be a handoff to Gaka, stopped right away at the line of scrimmage.
And one of the question marks about this Nolensville defense, a little bit undersized up front, and so would they be able to effectively stop the run against a good ground team? And I think that's what Franklin thought right away is let's see if we can attack what we perceive as a weakness. And that first play, it did not go the way I'm sure Coach intended with a no gain on the play.
Yeah, Gaka came in some relief duty last week with a running back going down for the Admirals, was able to pick up over 100 yards on the ground.
Franklin
Wilson
comes out in
pump.
4 wide.
He's going to find Wills Jackson, I believe. Oh, that's Lucas Young, excuse me.
Sure, so not the intended receiver, right? He pumped. I think he went through his second and third read on that progression if there was one, and then the coverage just broke down on the outside, and he connects for a big gain of about 17, 18 yards.
Yeah, Lucas Young will be Brewer Wilson's favorite target of the night. Big athletic junior. He's been playing in this program for 2 or 3 years now, and we've been saying in the past couple of weeks when we've been covering Franklin, very young team, but lots of experience. Hand off to Gaka up the middle.
Gain of about 3, and you're right. Franklin has had some growing pains over the last couple years, and I believe 2 years ago they went almost the whole season without scoring an offensive touchdown and didn't win a game. Next year a little bit better, and finally, unfortunately, it's not reflecting in the win column, but they're a far better and more dangerous team than they have been the last 2 years, playing very tight competition.
Sometimes you don't get to pick the region that you play in.
That's right, and Williamson County is very, very competitive, as we've seen week after week. So here you have 2nd and 8, 3 wide for Franklin. Out of the pistol, handoff to number 5
Gaka,
for Franklin. That's going to be Sean Gaka, and he's going to be stopped for about a gain of 2 or 3 on the play.
So last week we've seen a shared backfield between Gaka and Kia Hamilton. I'm sure Coach Melton will be subbing in Kia Hamilton throughout the game. Kind of a 1-2 punch. Gaka is definitely your more patient running back trying to find the holes, and Kia Hamilton, an electric running back. He's going to hit that hole hard with full head of steam. But here with 3rd and 5, we'll see what Coach Milton goes to.
So he's lined up in the pistol again, 3 wide. See if Franklin tries to draw him here. Snaps back, pass up. It's going to be complete. Does he have enough for a first? It looks like he does. He's right on the marker. Yep. The official says move the chain. So they needed 5, and they got 5 there on what was a quick pass to the sideline.
Once again, Lucas Young with the reception, and offensive coordinator Kerry Collins writing up a great play there. Get to the sticks, little out route. And so that's a pretty easy connection between those two.
You mentioned Kia Hamilton. He just checks into the game there, number 10 on the field. Checks in for Gaka. Looks like Franklin's going to stay in that 3-wide pistol formation. And there they go, right to Hamilton, who finds some room up the middle. He's going to explode for about 19 on the carry.
So like I was mentioning earlier, Kia Hamilton, he's going to be the electricity back for the Admirals. He's going to hit the hole hard and fast. He's going to be a shifty little guy to bring down here for the Knights tonight.
Well, and you have to wonder if that stretch of games where Nolensville wasn't even challenged, I mean, it was almost a running clock in the second quarter, if this is going to be hard for them, because this is going to be a dogfight and not what Nolensville is used to up to this point.
Wilson
hand off to Hamilton again, up the middle. He's going to be tackled just short of the end zone, fumbled into the end zone. Official saying he was down. That would have been a huge turnover and definitely took air out of this Franklin team's sails after they just drive down the field, but called it down. So it's going to be second and 1 from the 1. Still possible to get a first down here. I mean, they might need an inch.
The Admirals are going to bring in their goal line package. Number 8, Aiden Elmore checks in. Usually a defensive end specialist. Now they change it to first and goal.
All right, there you go. First and goal. So whatever happens here is going to have to be done in the next 4 downs.
Direct
quarterback keeper. He's going to be
no signal
yet. No signal yet. They're going to say he's
looks like they're gonna
down and short, so that'll be second and goal. They're not going to cue us up for the replay with a flag here, so it's just going to be second and goal.
So that was a wildcat formation with Gaka in the backfield. There goes Brewer Wilson once again. He's going to split out wide.
Would not surprise me if they come right back and do the same exact play. He got about a half a yard on the play. Again, there it is. He's going to pick a different hole. And there it is. There's the touchdown. So immediately, as soon as he veered right, you could see the hole was there. It closed quickly, but there was enough space there for the touchdown. And just like that, Franklin, clean drive, no penalties. Almost a turnover there, but they punch it into the end zone. And Franklin up early on the Knights in this hometown crowd, 6-0.
So Gaka does a lot of the dirty work on that drive at the running back position. Kia Hamilton subs in, breaks off a nice 19, 20-yard run, breaks another 12 or so yards run. And only two passes, 2 completions, both to Lucas Young.
Well, and if Kia Hamilton keeps running like that, Gaka may be put on the shelf for the night. I think Hamilton had 2 carries for almost 30 yards.
So as you were mentioning, Doug, Nolensville kind of untested the past 3 games. First game of the season versus Rockvale. Very close win, coming out with a 1-point victory, which will be a good statement win and something they might have to go back to as far as mentality-wise tonight. Rockvale actually ranked number 25 in the state in 6A, according to Max Preps. So it was no cupcake team that they took on.
No, Rockvale gave Nolensville all kind of fits the year before, and if you may not remember, their quarterback went down with an injury, their starting quarterback in the first couple plays, a la Aaron Rodgers, and kind of derailed their season. But a talented ball club, and again this year gave Nolensville all they wanted for 4 quarters. And so now you're going to see the powerful offense of Nolensville High School. They're averaging, I believe, close to 41 points a game, 41 points a game. And you're going to see Zion Tamaska out of the backfield will carry the bulk of the load. And then Ty Collins, the strong-armed quarterback, doing really well so far. But, again, this will be a different level of competition.
Absolutely. Franklin was able to keep Independence off the field for the most part in the first half last week, limiting them to 10 offensive plays. I don't think they're going to have that luxury here tonight.
So Tamaska right here on the kickoff brings it out to about the 27 or 28-yard line. And from up here, Zion Tamaska does not look large in stature, but I will tell you, when you get down on the field, I believe they said he has the heaviest squat on the entire team. And so you know those little legs get turning. Strong kid. And so here we go. Nolensville is going to open up on about the 26. They have their typical trio out on the field of Landon Smotherman, Oliver Bender, and Caleb Farr. Fake there to Tamaska, pass out to number 40. That's going to be Joseph Carano.
Great.
They will sneak him out every now and again. He had a couple touchdowns a few weeks ago in the game, and he's a weapon on offense for them out of that H-back tight end position that they run him in.
Absolutely, and the edge blocking there from the wide receiver is excellent. It's sometimes you get stuck on an island there as a receiver. You tend to grab or pull, but the Knights wide receivers did a great job blocking downfield there.
So here on the far side, Caleb Farr uncovered. I would snap this and just throw it deep. So the handoff goes to Tamaska. They don't take my play call into account. And he's going to be stopped for no gain.
So Walker Wells for the Admirals comes up there at the bottom of the pile, also led by Zach Cowart.
The coaches had to see number 5 for the Admirals. It's going to be Sean Gaka, the running back, leisurely walking over and leaving the far side. I think they've probably watched film because they don't look at number 4 too often. But when they've done so, Caleb Farr has scored touchdowns, and so they might want to make sure they get a guy out on him.
And Gaka pulling double duty, playing both sides of the ball. We've seen a lot of Admirals the past couple of weeks doing so.
Collins rolls out to his left. Quick pass to number 14 for the Knights. That's going to be Oliver Bender. And he's going to be, again, close to the marker. Looks like he'll be short, maybe a half a yard.
Like you said, Doug, this Knights offense definitely geared for high-powered plays. They're going to move quickly and effectively down the field.
They've been able to lean on Tamaska when the passing game's not there, and so we'll see if, because I'm going to guess Franklin's going to commit to shutting him down and say, okay, beat us with the pass.
Yep.
And so we'll see if that's the strategy here, because Tamaska is the bread and butter of the offense. As he goes, so does the offense, and so we'll see if they have success. Collins here on the keeper, read option there, and he's going to have a first down for the Knights.
And right on cue, like you said, I think Admirals cued in on Tamaska there with the outside zone play. Nobody home in the middle, and Nolensville able to pick up the first down.
That's right. They run Tamaska in motion on that play, and I think 3/4 of the defense shifted over to account, and just an easy gain for Collins. And so, I mean, you got to pick your poison here with the Knights. If their passing and running game is on, and they're going to be hard to shut down. So just like that, Franklin drives down. Now the Knights have a pretty good drive going here. Little option here to Landon Smotherman. Hits the corner, and he's going to be tackled for about a gain of 7 or 8. So this is actually one of the more methodical drives you'll see from the Knights. They have usually taken a shot downfield at this time, but I think they're content with just keeping it settled, getting acclimated to the competition here and driving it down the field, which is actually pretty smart, right? You don't want to take a risk when you don't need to.
And Franklin seeing two different ends of the spectrum, defensive-wise, I guess, from last week to this week. Last week at Independence, the option.
So, and just like that, I say they're going to take a shot, and he rolls out, and I don't know if that was intended receiver there out on the end, but he throws it to Oliver Bender, and that's going to be incomplete.
Just out of reach for Oliver there.
But I guess if you're going to take a shot on 2nd and 3, that's the spot to do it. And so here I would imagine they're going to come up with a quick pass to the outside or something short to Tamaska on this 3rd and short. And I'll say, knowing Nolensville, this is probably 4-down territory. I don't know that they'll try a field goal here unless he just absolutely gets crushed for a loss or something like that. I would guess that they're looking at, we got 2 downs here to get a first. And so we're out of the shotgun here. In motion with Smotherman, the handoff to Tamaska. And it looks like he's going to be about a yard short. So, again, if you're looking, if you have 2 downs to play with, if you can at least get half of what you need, you're going to have about a 4th and 1. And so, just like that, offense remains on the field. And
this is a dangerous situation if you're a defense.
Yeah,
right? You're trying to.
I was just thinking
4th and 1. You're going to try to sell out to stop the run, but
you don't want to give up 1, but you don't want to give up a touchdown either here. And so Collins on the keeper, and he's going to have a first right where he needed to get, maybe 2 feet more. Collins, another good-looking young player for the Knights, goes about 6'3" and has a cannon for an arm.
As Thompson King on the stop, coming in from his linebacker position, another junior. As we said on the Admirals' first offensive drive, lots of juniors and sophomores sprinkled in throughout both sides of the ball.
Well, and the other thing, too, you know, when you get games like this, sometimes the underdog can ride emotion for a little while, and if Nolensville keeps pressing, then that kind of goes away, and as the saying goes, the cream rises to the top. And just like that, 14 on the connection, that's going to be Oliver Bender on the pass from Collins, breaks a tackle and scores a touchdown.
Yeah. Collins, as you said, Doug, great arm there, powers it through. Gaka tries jumping the route for the pick.
Bender, only a sophomore, stands 6'3", so big target for Collins.
That's a name we'll probably be calling on WCTV for a couple more years.
Couple more years. That's right. And so where I was going is once the play levels and the emotions subside a little bit. Oh, well, here we go. Smotherman taken down on a bad snap, and so Franklin will retain the lead, 7-6. Sometimes it evens out, sometimes it doesn't.
So here we'll see again, Collins just guns this one in right over the middle.
Credit to Bender there for splitting the defenders. Had two guys in fairly decent coverage. Bender just able to split it, uses athleticism, and get into the end zone.
Just as I was saying, Luke Thompson coming in there for the tackle, a sophomore. So that's where a little lack of experience, where you just need to bring the guy down rather than playing the ball.
Well, and so we've seen a little bit of what Franklin wants to do on the offense. They're going to attack the perimeters with the short passing game, and they're going to try to run it up the gut. And so we'll see if Nolensville makes any defensive adjustments based off of that first drive. But I'd mentioned it earlier, that's the underbelly, if you will, of the defense, is right up the gut. And if you're able to pound the rock, it's going to give the Nolensville defense a hard time to stop.
So with 4:05 left here in the first, the Franklin Admirals will retain the lead, 7-6. I believe that's Kia Hamilton back deep for the Admirals.
I got to say, Justin, I think this is the longest time I've had broadcasting without a penalty in my career with WCTV. Big hole there right in the middle. He has a lane. Kicker does just enough. Hamilton brings it back out to the Knights' 44-yard line, and the kicker gets in the way and allows the Knights defense to catch up.
I think the
that'll be the last time they kick deep to Hamilton.
I was just saying, I think the viewers might have caught me with a little there, because that.
Well, once I saw the form right around the 30, I was like, well.
The sea parted, and Hamilton had nothing but green grass. He chose to pick the inside route there on the kicker, and the kickoff team able to bring him down. But Burr Wilson out passing once again. Lucas
Young. A lot of cushion out there for number 3 on the side. But, again, only a gain of about 2 or 3. So good closing tackle there, open field for Nolensville. Gain of 3. I'd mentioned they're going to try to attack the perimeters with the pass, and we'll see if they set up the run. Probably giving Hamilton a little bit of a breather on the side as Gaka's in the backfield.
It also might be a situation where they're trying to get Brewer Wilson some completions under his belt before they start trying to take deep shots.
So there we go. Run right up the gut for Gaka. He's going to be short but very close to a first down. And so, again, this is one of those weird spots. It's going to be 3rd and about a yard. And so if they get stopped here, do they punt or do they go for it? To me, if you're 0-4, I'm not even thinking. I'm not even looking at the punt playbook here. You got to do something to generate excitement within your team, that let them know you believe in them. So I believe this is 4-down territory right here if they don't get it.
I would guess this is either going to Lucas Young across the middle, or they might, number 9, Johnny on the spot right there, Jack Flynn, might be coming out in route as well. And
so handoff is there right up the gut, and that's going to be a gain of about 4. So no need to even worry about what do we do on 4th down. And so really they've attacked this Knights defense with gains of 4 and 5 for the most part. A couple big plays with the throw on the earlier drive for about 17 and a couple runs by Kia Hamilton. But other than that, it's been 4 yards, 3 yards. And I think Franklin's okay with that.
I was going to say that.
Because when you do the math, that equals a first down.
Yeah, they're nickel and diming their way down the field. Hamilton's back in the backfield now. Burr Wilson looking for Lucas Young triple covered, a little double move route. But
that would have been a hard one. So the quarterback for Franklin, their Brewer Wilson, does a good job of the pump fake and looking off the safeties. He throws a pass to the sideline. Double coverage. It would have been a tough throw because it was over his left shoulder going towards the sideline. Probably not something he could have caught, but it was worth a shot. 2nd and 10 now. 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah.
They've been able to get chunks of yards here and there. There's a handoff to Hamilton, and he's not going to make any ground right there. So he's just eaten up by the Knights defense for no gain.
He's tackled in the backfield. I believe that was number 60, Owen Black.
And so
Rex Road.
Now we have 3rd and 10 for Franklin. Now it's interesting because they have not lived and died by the 3 and 4 yards. They've been able to get chunk plays. So we'll see what the Franklin staff calls up here on this 3rd and 10. If they're going to try to get all 10 or a chunk, I don't know what the coach's mindset is here. We got motion to the top. False start. That's going to drop them back 5 more. Number 53. Just a little bit early.
It's going to be Logan Lynch on the left side of the Admirals offense. So that's going to stick them even farther back behind the sticks, and not a position you want to be in if you're Coach Milton. You want to try to stay ahead of the sticks.
Well, and
2nd and medium, 3rd and short, rather than 3rd and 15.
Well, and remember, sometimes this is a difference when you have a younger team between 0 and 4 and 3 and 1 or 2 and 2 are plays like that where you just don't have the manpower to make those up. So the quarterback keeps it, gets about 4 yards back. It's going to be 4th and 11. And here, I think if you're Franklin, you just need to punt this one.
I don't see the punt unit come up.
Well, here
there
they come. I was going to say, okay. But 4th and 10 is a little different than 4th and 4 or 4th and 2. Because here, if you turn the ball over, you just gave the Nolensville offense the ball with really good field position.
So Smotherman back deep for the kick.
Snap is back, hits the turf. Bobbled snap. Punter does get it off after juking out a few players. Fair catch is called for. Good heads-up play there on the Franklin punter. There's a 15-yard penalty coming on Franklin. And, again, I just mentioned it. Those plays are what's going to separate 0 and 4 from 4 and 0. It's those little mental cues, unnecessary, away from the play, probably by about 30 yards. Just a block long after the whistle, shoving a kid to the ground. And the referee was right there and threw the flag immediately.
Yeah, I watched that one the whole way, and I knew it was either going to go on Nolensville or Franklin, and I think retaliation got caught on that one.
Well, so they had him there at the 10-yard line, which is where the fair catch was made. I'm waiting to see if they mark anything off here. The official makes the call. There it is. So instead of 1st and 10 from the 10, they're going to have 1st and 10 on the 25. That is a huge difference. So I was just saying Franklin did well. The punter, a heck of a heads-up play to evade the defender and kick it Australian style to get it down the field, and then just a bonehead penalty. I think I jinxed him when I said it was the longest I'd gone without calling a penalty, and then we had 2, false start and a unnecessary
on the
roughness.
Same drive.
So here we go. Nolensville's going to open up. Looks like 3 wide, single back, 3 wide all to the bottom of the screen. Quick pass out to Smotherman. He's going to be immediately brought down by a fleet of Admiral defenders there.
So the Knights trying to set up a little bubble screen there to the bottom side of your screen. Once again, I mentioned it in the first drive, it's hard to be out on an island like that if you're a wide receiver. You're one-on-one trying to block a guy that's 3 to 4 yards away from you.
That's right. If you can't make the first man miss, you're probably going to get hit pretty hard. And so he could not make the first man miss, and just like that, 3 to 4 defenders were on him. Collins is again running 3 wide. Farr and Bender are the wides. Collins back, looking. Pump fakes. Throws it out, but does not get it to the line of scrimmage. I'm wondering if they're going to say he was being taken down. It could be intentional grounding, but it looks like if there's no flag, that's a heads-up play by Collins to get rid of the ball. because he was getting sacked.
So Luke Denman there on pursuit for the Admirals did a great job, almost acting as a spy. Didn't go in too aggressively.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Was almost mirroring and then able to bring him down.
Just like that, 1 quarter in the books, a quick quarter, very few penalties, pretty clean football, and it is your score. Franklin Admirals lead the home Nolensville Knights by the difference of 1 botched extra point, 7-6.
So as we were saying before the kickoff, Nolensville coming in with a 4-0 record. Their first region win last week versus Glencliff, 55-0 victory. They've got a Williamson County neighbor now in the 5A region with them in Centennial, which will put a little wrinkle in things this year.
Centennial moved up, moved down. Now they're back again in Class 5A, and so those are the two. That it will probably be one of the more anticipated games depending on how this game goes, because I don't believe Centennial has lost a game either.
No, I believe they're undefeated as well. Played this Franklin Admirals team in week 1, tough. Played a very close game up until halftime, and then the 3-headed running back monster that Centennial has is able to carry them to victory.
Well, and then they played a tough Indy squad up the road. Played Summit, which was not very tough. We broadcasted that. It was a WCTV game of the week. And so here you go, 3rd and 10 to start the second quarter. Nolensville on offense. Ty Collins in the shotgun. Takes a snap. He's looking. Throws Bender on the post route.
Oh.
Good breakup by number 17 for Franklin. That's going to be Andrew Dixon. Good pass, good throw. Just couldn't get it with Dixon draped all over him.
Absolutely great pass there by Collins. Able to find the open receiver. Just a little bit better defense on the coverage.
So Nolensville not feeling frisky here on 4th and 10 from their own 25. Probably a smart move to punt here. Smotherman, the Swiss Army knife of the Nolensville High School football team, plays offense, defense.
Blocked.
Just had a punt blocked.
Trickles into the end zone and out the back.
That's going to be a touchback.
Safety.
Was that safety?
So it might have been a blessing in disguise that it rolled out of the back of the end zone and Admirals weren't able to recover it in the end zone for 6, but huge block there by the Admirals.
Well, that's a blessing in disguise because it could have just as easily been a touchdown.
Yes.
But the other side of that coin is now Nolensville will have to kick off to Franklin with the
probably
score.
Put them in, pin them deeper in field
That's
position
right.
than they would have on this punt anyways.
That's right. And so we'll see what they punt out of this formation after a safety, and so we'll see if they do indeed kick it to Hamilton this time. And so now your score 9-6. Not much different than the score we had Centennial at Indy when it was 2-2 after the first quarter.
So as you see there, a huge block there by Luke Thompson, the sophomore. Walker Wells, Army crawling to try to get to it in the end zone for a touchdown, but unfortunately rolls out the back for a safety. So
when I believe on the play there, Smotherman did all he could to hit it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I believe he may have hit it out of bounds or pushed it. That's right. So the Knights are going to line up on the 20. See where they go with this.
Hamilton back deep once again. They
do decide to pooch kick it, and it goes out of bounds.
Flag on the play as the kick is out of bounds.
So I'm going to be honest here, off of a kick from their own 20 when they kick it out of bounds, I'm not sure where they spot the ball. Normally they would spot it at the 40-yard line if it goes out of bounds. But we'll see. It may be 10 yards further up. I'm not sure.
Doesn't look like the chain gang is moving too far there from
I don't
the
know if
other
the
side of
officials
the
are
40.
sure either.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be at the 45 of the Knights is where they will place the ball. So Franklin will take over again. Gaka in the backfield. an illegal procedure call on the Knights.
So they'll go back to the pistol formation here for the Admirals. Wills Jackson, Lucas Young lining up at the wideout here at the bottom of your screen.
So this is a huge drive for Franklin. 2 points off of the safety. Dropped pass there, forward, not a fumble. So 2nd and 10, but you get up another touchdown here. You're talking about a 2-score ball game at that point, and the Knights have not been in that position up to this point.
So Lucas Young, usually very sure-handed receiver for the Admirals, drops one there. Might have been peeking upfield, seeing
Footstep
where the
induced maybe there, yep. He did have a person. I don't know that he would have gotten far if he had caught it. Nolensville closed pretty quickly, but in any regard, pass was dropped, bringing up 2nd and 10. Handoff to Gaka, has space outside, cuts it back in. It's going to get about 6.
Very patient run by Gaka there, looking for the hole, not pushing the envelope too much, and gets him in a much more manageable 3rd down. So as we said in the first quarter, Doug, these Admirals are pretty content with just nickel and diming Nolensville down the field, 4 yards here, 5 yards there. We'll see if that sets up a shot play at any point in this game as well, though.
Well, in every play their offense is on the field. That's a play Nolensville's offense is not on the field. So pass incomplete there. Threw it low. You can almost see he released that a little bit funky.
Short, a little short-armed it.
A little nose heavy there, and it just goes into the ground. So that's going to be 4th and about 4 from the 39-yard line, and they bring out the punt team. Do they go a little fake punt action here? I don't think so.
I think you're probably, if you're Admirals, you're feeling pretty good right now with a 3-point lead versus one of the best 5A teams in the state. So I think you're trying to pin them deep in their own end here. Could be wrong.
Snap is back.
Rugby style.
Again, rugby style kick. Tamaska fields it, Smotherman makes a man miss. Smotherman has about 4.5, 4.4 speed. Gets upfield. Flag.
Landon Smotherman with a 33-yard return.
Flag on the play at the 25-yard line. I think we're going to have a hold or a block in the back. Usually the only 2 penalties called.
Coming from behind,
From the 42-yard line.
So the return would have taken them back to the line of scrimmage.
And I almost questioned Smotherman's decision to pick that up until he broke 2 or 3 tackles, and then he had a shot up the sideline until one of his fellow teammates, I think, took down an Admiral on a block.
Holding against the Knights.
Well, and so really what it does is it just makes this a fair catch. So this is about where Landon Smotherman this is about where he caught the ball and ran. And so Nolensville will take over on about looks to be the 19-yard or 14-yard line. 10 minutes, 42 seconds to go here in the half. Franklin leads 9-6 on your WC TV Game of the Week. Tamaska in motion, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, running hard, pushing the Franklin pile forward. Those squats coming into play there.
Great hard
and
run.
He's going to have about 10 yards on the play for a 1st down. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning. Tamaska, small in stature, but very powerful runner, surprisingly. Gets about 11 there.
Bruni was able to turn this play back inside to the Admirals, but unable to bring him down. And you're not going to be able to bring down him with arm tackles, I'll tell you that, very early on in this game.
Well, and they brought Tamaska in motion on that play. He was not in the backfield, and I thought he was going to get tackled about 4 times on that play and just kept moving forward. Collins comfortable in the pocket, finds Oliver Bender again on a quick in route, and that's going to be about a 16-yard gain. Nolensville back in business, driving on this Franklin defense. Collins, I've just watched his progression, has gotten exceedingly more comfortable in the pocket there. I mean, he almost threw that flat-footed and just scanned the field well. Really impressed with this young man as he's guiding this offense and watching his progression, because this is his first season playing as the starting quarterback. Collins again there, takes the snap, hands it to Tamaska. Tamaska, speed to get on the corner, makes a few men miss, runs about 90 yards, but 4 yards forward.
Gain of 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, strung that one out very wide to the high side of the field there. Was looking for more room.
Not many players can drag a play out that far to the sideline and get positive yardage, and Tamaska, with his speed and power, was able to do so. Franklin, though, defensively, to their credit, has really limited Nolensville. I mean, these offenses are almost mirrors of each other, just dinking and dunking, getting a few yards and driving down the field.
Both trying to still feel each other out.
Smotherman in motion. Collins pulls it, runs the option play to Smotherman, makes almost a man miss there. I was predicting it for him, but he gets the first down there after a gain of about 8. As is a new wrinkle to the Nolensville Knight playbook there, the read option, Collins to the pitch to Smotherman. And again, just one of the pieces of this multifaceted, talented Nolensville offense. There's so many different people Collins can distribute the ball to. It really does make them scary for a defensive coordinator. Collins, you could see that was screenplay written all over it. Anytime you see 3 or 4 defenders running free at the quarterback, you know that it's going to be a screenplay. But Franklin, the second level, scoots up well, picks it up for no gain on Tamaska.
I was going to say, I believe that was Penn Montgomery on the tackle there for the Admirals. And to his credit, got a free release right to the quarterback and realized, wait, this is a little too easy.
Yeah.
So you're always taught to turn back, track back, and find where the receiver or the running back's at that point.
When you're a defender and if something's too easy, there's only a couple things that are about to happen. You're about to be victim to a screen pass or a trap block, and the latter is not fun. Collins here, handoff to Tamaska, has a lane up the middle, quickly closes after a gain of about 4. So we're going to have 3rd and 6 on the Admirals' 40-yard line.
Third down for the Knights.
Make that a long 6 to 7 here. They just messing with us with the yard marker down there.
So 3rd and 7. Collins is showing a very strong arm across the middle here. We'll see if the Knights can draw something up, a quick slant pattern or maybe a bubble screen to the high side of your screen.
3 wide set. Tamaska flanking Collins. Tamaska goes in motion. Sends Tamaska. Passes to Smotherman, about a yard short here.
And that's a defender you don't want to.
That's an actually interesting spot by the official there. So it's going to be 4th and about 3.5.
Walker Wells, the junior for the Admirals, the do-it-all linebacker. Not usually a guy of his stature playing middle linebacker, but very athletic for the Admirals.
So 4th down, offense stays on the field. 4 wide. Collins sends Tamaska in motion, fakes the handoff, gives it to him. Tamaska has room, makes the defender miss. It's a fumble.
Out.
Oh, and the Knights recover it. Johnny on the spot right there. A gift wrap for the Knights player there. That's going to be Oliver Bender. Tamaska owes him a Starbucks tomorrow for that. Johnny on the spot play. Knights retain possession and a 1st down. And that's something you don't see Tamaska do very often, is fumble the ball, but it was just the right timing as he was pushing the pile forward. Somebody got in there from Franklin and just pried the ball loose.
That's the 3rd or 4th time they put Tamaska in motion. Let him get a full head of steam before he finds a hole and breaks a run.
Option play again to Smotherman here. Smotherman having a hard time making that outside defender miss. That's the 3rd or 4th time they've run him to the perimeter, and he's tackled on first contact, which is not something that Landon Smotherman is used to. And so minimal gain there of 2 or 3 on the play.
That was King and Gaka there for the stop for the Admirals. Gaka earning his paycheck tonight, playing both sides of the ball.
33 for the Knights checks in. That's going to be Andrew Ryan, the sophomore wide receiver defensive back. Also number 2 for the Knights checks in. That's B.J. Mays, running back. Collins, back to pass, looking long. Great pass out there. Number 40 again, old reliable Joseph Carano. Strong, beautiful-looking pass right there on the spot to Carano.
Yeah,
Collins
absolutely.
again showing a little zip on the pass.
Great out route there by Collins. Strong throw to the near sideline. But credit the offensive line. Collins is getting no pressure back there. Has all day, as you said, Doug. Plant, throw, and a nice hard strike to the outside.
That's right. Franklin is on defense. They're not putting any pressure up front. They're sitting back, staying in their zone defense, and they're allowing to give what Nolensville is doing on offense. And it's just not creating a lot of pressure. And that's going to be a touchdown to Tamaska on the swing pass. It looked like a little bit of a wheel route to the outside. Yeah. Tamaska on the catch and carry, touchdown. And the Knights answer back after what looked like it could have been a catastrophe on the safety and then possession of Franklin.
Once again, Tamaska getting out in space. In motion, it's going to be hard to bring him down all night when he's able to get a full head of steam ahead of him.
So special teams for the Knights, not exactly spectacular up to this point. They've had a missed field extra point opportunity and a blocked punt, but that one up and good and pushes the lead to 4. The Knights with their first lead of the game, 13-9. And an impressive drive there. It was clean. Aside from the Tamaska strip that was recovered by Bender, clean drive, no penalties. And when the Knights are not committing penalties and Collins has all day to throw the ball, that's not really a good recipe for Franklin's defense.
Right.
The Knights are just too talented on offense. And so we'll see if the Admiral starts sending pressure on Collins, because him standing there like a statue and being able to throw the football, not a good idea.
So with 6:04 left here in the first half, as you said, Doug, the home Nolensville Knights will be leading 13-9. Quick score update from around the county. Centennial leads Springfield 21-0 at halftime. Oh, excuse me, end of the first quarter.
The Knights set to kick off. I doubt they're going to kick it deep to number 10. They don't. They pooch kick. Ball's caught at the 20. Has to seam up the middle. Taken down at the 42 is that Franklin receiver. Comes up. We'll keep an eye on that. Kia Hamilton coming up a little, favoring that left ankle. Stays in the game. Oh, comes out now. Looks like he's going to make it. Actually, he's going to stay on the field.
I think they've got him in a 5-wide set.
So triple nickels on the clock. 5:55 left in the second quarter. Franklin out of the shotgun. Low snap. Quick pass to the outside. Gain of about 4 or 5.
Yep, 5-yard catch, and I think that's Lucas Young's 5th 5-yard catch of the night.
5 for 5 for 5. That took a whole 3 seconds off the clock. And my question here, though, Justin, is can Franklin maintain, because we've already seen some of the mistakes. The penalties got them backed up, and they weren't able to get the first down. It's hard to maintain 4 and 5 yard plays because you're going to have a false start. You're going to have a penalty. And so do they stick with this as the game goes on? It helps when they jump off sides. I will say that. Just like that, Nolensville.
I think Coach Milton has addressed that a couple times in the coaches show the past couple weeks of staying in front of the sticks, picking up 3 and 4 yards on first down. And I think we mentioned it earlier in this game, Independence only had 10 offensive plays in the first half last week. So I think that's their bread and butter is let's see how long our offense can stick out there, put the pressure on them, and let our defense rest up a little bit.
Well, Nolensville, I will say, has already exceeded 10 plays, and they've already put 13 points on the board. Hamilton finds some room outside. He's going to get about 7 on the play. Hamilton, I believe, has 3 carries for about 37 yards.
So I believe he had just over 125 last week. Combined backfield of over 200 yards on the ground. But the interesting part is Franklin is a pass-first mentality team. 80% of their plays coming from the air.
Except for tonight.
Yeah. And that might be a mid-season coaching adjustment, too.
Well, and probably intentional, keeping Nolensville's offense off the field. And to this point, it's 9-13, right?
He's going to chew the clock away.
If Nolensville can chew up 5 minutes and kick a field goal or score a touchdown here, that's probably a victory for the Franklin Admirals.
The Admirals probably don't want to get in a shootout with a team that's averaging 41 points a game.
No.
So that'll bring up second and about 8 or 9 here for the Admirals. Gaka will stay in the backfield for the Admirals.
And so what Franklin also doesn't want to do is turn the ball over here, give it to the Knights, and then kick to the Knights when we get back from halftime, because that is not a good proposition for the Admirals. And so here, quarterback designed run only
Wilson
gets about a yard.
Looks like Gaka was out there with him to run a option route, but Wilson, decides to keep it, and that's offensive coordinator Kerry Collins there. Dialing up a third and medium play for the Admirals.
So we're looking at about 3rd and 7 for the Admirals. The crowd's starting to come alive a little bit here on the Nolensville sideline. You can hear the cowbells serenade the night. Shotgun pass.
Lucas Young right there.
Pass to the outside. He's going to have a first down, and I never understood why on 3rd and 7 or 8 you're given a 10-yard cushion on the outside.
Well, especially that receiver for the Admirals. He's been targeted 7 or 8 times now. The Knights got to pick up that's Brewer Wilson's favorite target, and especially in a 3rd down situation, throwing a couple more defenders over his way to help.
And so you heard the name Kerry Collins, ex-NFL quarterback for, I believe, the Raiders, the Giants, the Panthers.
The list goes on.
They had some successful years. He is now manning the sidelines for your Franklin Admirals.
So bring him first down. Wilson takes a snap.
Low snap again. Looking deep is Franklin.
Way, and that's a mismatch size-wise for sure. Will Jackson able to bring in the reception. Big touchdown for the Admirals.
And keep that in your mental notes there, because that was, as you said, a mismatch. Beautiful throw and catch. No safety backup on the play, and just beat him to the outside for what was about a 40-yard touchdown strike. And just like that, Franklin answers back.
And that might be the result of to my discredit, giving Lucas Young too much attention and leaving Will Jackson, one of their taller receivers, wide open on the sideline.
The kick is up, and it is good. So that brings us visiting Franklin 16, your Nolensville Knights, the home squad, 13.
So
however, Justin, they gave them 3 minutes and 43 seconds on the clock.
Brewer Wilson back there. Good throw, and that's a size mismatch for sure. Wills Jackson got to be pushing 6'3", 6'4". Defender coming up to maybe the top of his shoulder pads.
Well, yeah, the defender for the Knights there, Luke Colbert, 5'10", 145 pounds. He's given up 5-6 inches on that receiver. And, and perfect throw on the play. Perfect throw. Over the shoulder in the end zone. That defender could have been 6'5" and not defended that pass. So good pass and catch for the touchdown. And we got a ball game here, Justin.
Absolutely. We were talking about it before we climbed up to the top of the booth that people might see the records for this one, 4-0 going against 0-4, and might not decide to tune in or think it's going to be a blowout. But this Franklin Admirals team is a scrappy, gritty team. Their record the past 3 years has not indicated that, but they're right there.
And just dying for a statement win, right?
Absolutely.
Dying for a statement win. A win over, I think Nolensville's ranked 3 in the state, and so a win over this club would be huge for the program. Kick is back, caught at about the 2-yard line, and he's going to be tackled at the 10. Probably a mistake.
Thompson.
B.J. Mays on the return. Probably a mistake to bring that out. Let that go in the end zone.
Yeah.
Instead, the Knights are going to start on their own 10-yard line. I understand maybe making something happen here, but the Knights.
It's just a situation you don't want to go east and west either. You want to just find a sleeve, find a gap, and try to hit it right at the middle. And
That's
tried
right.
bouncing it to the outside. wrapped up there by Luke Thompson.
Surprisingly, the clock is running here after the kickoff. I mean, about 30 seconds have run off the clock. Clock's
Still
continuing to run as the officials are talking on the sideline.
I think that might be what they're...
Yeah, clock should have stopped after the change of possession. And so it should be about 3 minutes and 37 seconds or so on the clock, which, if you're Nolensville, you want every second you got here. So we'll see if they get a hold of the clock operator to adjust the clock. Yeah, there it is. 3:32 put back on the clock.
Set to 3:32. First and 10 for the Knights.
So the Knights take over on their about 11-yard line, so we'll see. Plenty of time on the clock. No need to rush or get it all in one play. Good pass out to one of his favorite targets, Oliver Bender, to the sideline. It's going to be about a 9 or 10-yard on the gain, but more importantly, Bender gets outside, out of bounds rather, and they only take about – now the clock isn't running at all again. I was going to say they took 0 seconds off on that play. That is not correct.
Roulette wheel. Just spin it, and we'll just put that much time up there. But
clock is not running.
Like we were saying, Collins, great strong throw there. He's thrown a couple good, strong out routes for the Knights tonight so far.
Well, when you look at throwing an out route, what exactly does that entail? And so the football field is 53 yards wide, and so when you're standing at you're throwing it on a dime about 27 yards or so to a specific spot. So it is not an easy throw.
Probably one of the hardest, most dangerous throws
a
quarterback can throw, because if he underthrows it, it could be going 6 the other way.
Collins looking again, and you mentioned there, dangerous play. Incomplete, broken up. Carano reliable on the play.
Incomplete.
But that was one that was almost picked on the sideline.
Yeah, Dixon wanted to pick. He's still pleading his case with the officials, but
didn't look close, actually.
Regardless, it was a good breakup by Mr.
Right.
Dixon. Puts Nolensville in a 2nd and long situation. But once again, Collins, very strong arm. He's throwing some bullets out there.
Smotherman in motion for the Knights. Collins takes the snap, scrambles left, throws it to Smotherman, who makes a diving catch at the 30.
Catch.
Great catch.
Smotherman lays out there, is able to bring it in for a gain of about 7.
Yards on the play.
Get him in a much more manageable 3rd down. And like you said, Doug, still a lot of time on the clock. In an ideal scenario, you're winding this all the way down to 0, scoring, and then coming back out in the second half and getting the ball back.
That's right. Smotherman in motion again. Handoff goes to Maska, who's going to have the first. Spins forward. Mad contact at about the line to gain. Was spun down and got the extra yard he needed there. And so the Knights' drive will continue. I was wondering decision time if they don't get it there, but it's a moot point now as we have 1st and 10.
Yeah, it's Maska. He's good for 3 or 4 yards for sure. So if you can get it 3rd and short, I don't think there's any question of what's going to happen there.
You got to wonder if the Knights at some point take a shot. And so there's a shot to the middle to Smotherman, makes a move to the inside. Franklin defender catches up to him, and he's all the way down to the 31-yard line just like that.
For 42 yards.
Not the shot I was thinking, but after the catch and run, they get about 30 yards on the play.
Absolutely. Play action might have lulled them to sleep here. Luke Thompson for the Admirals left on a island as a sophomore. That's a nervous feeling for sure. You're the last guy to bring him down.
Collins back to pass again in the pocket. Split the defender. Carano, huge play. Just the sheer size of number 40. Carano goes 6'3", 210, and those defenders felt every pound of that. Caught it in deep traffic in the middle of the field. Both defenders bounce off, and he takes it to the house. Franklin, though, minute 41 left here in the 2nd quarter. Very impressive play by number 40 there. Again, a throw on a rope by Collins. The only place it could go is where he put it.
And everything from the throw to the catch to the yards after catch. Very impressive there for the Knights. Both defenders, I think, went for the ball, the breakup, and then felt the aftermath after the catch.
That's right. Carano rumbles in the rest of the way after getting hit by both defenders. And not only is this a close game, this is an exciting game, truly living up to the billing of the WCTV Game of the Week here. 20-6. I believe we've had 4 lead changes in this game already.
Definitely a back and forth game. Both teams trying to feel each other out the first couple drives. Nolensville opening up a little bit more here offensively on that last drive. 2 big throws down the middle.
Well, now you're seeing a pattern. They're starting to attack the middle of this Franklin defense down the middle. And we'll see in the second half if that comes up again. I do know what's not going to happen on this play is they're not going to kick it to Hamilton for sure. I'm going to guess it's going to go to number 21 here with his feet at the 10-yard line. So just like that, your Knights up 20, Franklin 16, and squib kick right down the middle, ball rolling. Caught at about the 27-yard line. Makes a man miss. The kicker stays back. One man to beat, and he doesn't beat him. That's number 13, who I believe had the coverage and caught Smotherman on defense.
That's me, Thomas Tillman, the senior. And I guess it doesn't really matter who you kick it to for this Admirals team. They're going to –
the
smartest plan might just be kick it out of bounds.
That's right. We'll just give it to him at the 40.
Yeah.
And so special teams for the Knights has just been abysmal in this football game. They've had a blocked punt, a missed field goal, and just awful coverage on their special teams.
2 big returns for the Admirals.
Just breathing life into this Admirals offense. I mean, they're almost in field goal range here with 1:30 on the clock.
So hand off to Gacka there. He's going to pick up the first down a little bit more. Takes down the couple Knights defenders along with the official.
Both squads also with their full complement of timeouts. I'm going to guess that's not going to be the case as we whittle this minute here left. I'm surprised Collins did not call a timeout there.
Well, as they say, you can't take them with you.
You can't take them with you, and they're on about the 18-yard line. You want to make sure that you got the right play and everybody's clear on that. You don't want to rush into a mistake that could be catastrophic. Franklin again attacking the sideline.
Out route to Lucas Young once again, and that's another 5-6 yard pickup.
And stops the clock. 55 seconds to play. Ball on about the 13-yard line. And so we'll see. Franklin is at a place now where they can start taking shots at the end zone. 2nd and short. We'll see if they go to number 7 here, who has the mismatch on the outside with number 10 with the height advantage. So Gacka gets the ball again. He's going to be.
I was wondering if they were going to run the ball again on 2nd down, get that clock working.
And he can run it down here. Right. It looks like they called a timeout, but realistically, it's going to be 3rd and about the length of the football on the play. And so here it does actually get a little tricky because if they don't get the first down here.
Interesting timeout by Coach Milton. I think the thought process on that, if I'm coaching, is you take it down as low as you can.
And
That way if you don't pick up the first down, you just kick the field goal going to halftime. If you do pick up the first down, you got 3 pass play shots to get to the end zone.
Well, we have the luxury, Justin, of up here calling those plays, and so it's hard to feel the heartbeat of a team on the sideline from the booth up here. But you're right. Time management is always a thing. And again, I can't say it enough. They wouldn't even be in this position had it not been for just the special team breakdowns. Nolensville playing almost a complete game in the first half with the exception of special teams. And that's led to points for Franklin and a la the safety and potential points here as the ball was returned to the, 30-yard line off of the squib kick. My talk at halftime would be we're just going to kick it out of bounds.
Yeah. So Gacko line up once again, the pistol set. Wills Jackson down to the bottom of your screen.
So here's
But
the
he's
pass
gonna go right back to
the
Lucas Young,
sideline.
and that's their bread and butter all night.
We've seen that 5-yard out route about 10 times, and I'm not exaggerating
No.
tonight. I mean, you said it. He had 5 catches for 5 yards a pop. I think he's up to 8 catches now. He has 40 yards receiving.
So I'm not sure how it's second and goal, but
Well, it was 3rd and short, and miraculously it's second and goal. So I guess that means they gave them the first down. So the ball's only looks like 6-yard line.
so Kia Hamilton with the handoff.
Handoff to Kia Hamilton, who's going to push into the end zone. That's a
get it.
touchdown. I almost wanted to say the quarterback held the ball
I
too
was gonna
long,
say,
causing Hamilton to stumble.
I think Brewer Wilson wanted to take it, and Kia Hamilton said, I got this.
So that's going to jump your score 22-20, Admirals. And you got to think, even with 33 seconds here, all 3 timeouts for the Knights, what exactly are they going to do here?
So Elijah Bagwell lines up for the extra point. Hit a huge field goal last week to send it to overtime.
Kick is up, and it is good. And he looks like he can kick in the 40 to 50-yard range. And
Flag on the play, I believe.
This is probably going to be on Nolensville for jumping over the line and maybe land or covering the center.
Your score, Franklin.
That's what looks like it's going to be on the Knights.
Bagwell's got the leg to kick it into the end zone here. But
Personal foul on the Knights. So this is not – all that means is they're going to move the kicking team up, and this will probably go into the end zone. Or they may kick it high. We've seen that too.
So here's the touchdown play once again. Like we were saying, it looked like Brewer Wilson, and it
Almost
was,
a fumble.
yeah. Brewer Wilson was trying to pull that back out.
And Key Hamilton said, no, I'm going to take this one.
Looks
And
like
again,
it broke
just
a face mask there.
I mean, and here you have 6 Knight defenders, just poor tackling on this play. Also looks short. When you look at the replay, it does not look like he was in the end zone, but his back was towards the official. Moot point now.
Yep.
We have the luxury of the replay. They do not. And they also couldn't do anything about it anyway.
That'll be the next TSSAA Institute is
That's right.
a replay.
Instant replay.
With your certified athletic trainer, and Dr. Jeff Kusikovich is your team physician. You can visit them at Bone and Joint TN.
Lance in the van, definitely a Kia Hamilton fan down there. Lance, we are watching it. He is a very talented young man for sure.
On the extra point will be assessed on the kickoff.
So Wayne Wells line up here for kicking duties. It'll be interesting to see what the Admirals do. You just boot it out of the back of the end zone, or do you?
Well, I think the safe play here is just to kick it out of the end zone, right? You got 33 seconds. You got the lead. Nobody, I'm sure, expected you to be here except for maybe the principal of Franklin. And so he does just that. He kicks it almost to the fence past the end zone. And so the Knights will take over. No time off of the clock. And we'll see 3 timeouts, 33 seconds. We'll see just how precise this Nolensville offense can be. One thing you don't want to do is be overly aggressive and make a mistake here, because you'd rather go in 20-23 than 20-30.
Right. And if you're coach, you're telling Ty Collins, if it's there, go for it. If not,
well, when you're telling that to a high school kid, it's there every time. Coach, he was open. Smotherman in motion. So the handoff there to Tomaska makes a man move. Oh, and stiff arms, but is tackled after a short gain.
Yeah, good wrap-up tackle there. That's Luke Thompson, the sophomore, that got burnt.
So no timeout here. Knights look like they're content with just running the clock down to go into the locker room. 7 seconds showing they're just going to run this down and take it into the halftime. So just like that, a half is down on the WCTV Game of the Week. The Admirals here of Franklin giving Nolensville all they can handle, leading at the half, 23-20. I'm Doug Capella here with Justin Ventline. We'll be back after the half. the ball. What they have done really well is tackle on the perimeter on the sides.
Yep.
On the call here, I didn't.
Block in the back.
There it is, blocking down the field tonight. Points have not been the issue here.
No, not at all.
If you pick the over here, you're probably
sitting.
Right did really well. 42 points. That's going to be number 5 for the Admirals.
Sean got
double field here.
And we mentioned it in the first half. They got Tamaska out there in motion in the wide out in the field.
Yeah. Play here and down the field. And just like that, blow after blow, these teams are just going after each other. What a Friday night to be watching football here.
They're finally starting to feel like football.
He's going to be about a half a yard short.
Good contact.
He's going to now wave for a first down here. Ball spotted on the 30. Nolensville driving here. Again, film. Not a lot of pressure. Snap. Flag on the deep. They don't play. It's probably going to be offside. So we went from a relatively clean first half to 2 penalties on the same drive, sorting it out here who it was on. This is actually going to be
a legal formation.
So that's going to either mean the center moved the ball or something there. It's a rare call on the offensive side of the ball.
5-yard penalty against.
But anyway, that's going to do Tamaska right up the middle.
Yeah, it's been the soft spot for that Admirals defense.
Tamaska made 8 on that. Looks to be about 7 or 6. Collins back again, hands it to Tamaska. Gain of about 2. That's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
Admirals have been doing a good job all night of turning that outside zone back inside. I think if I'm
business, Justin, they did what they had to do.
Yep.
They took the opening kickoff and scored a touchdown on that drive.
Good methodical drive. Tamaska was able to bust a big one there, and then just kept going back to the well a couple times. Got him out to the outside on the wide side of the field. Lots of green grass out there, and able to march it in for a touchdown.
I'd be curious to know Ty Collins' stats tonight. I believe he's had 1 dropped pass all evening. So that is going to be, again, a pooch kick. This time they kicked it to the slower, bigger kid.
Let's keep it away from the
anybody,
specialty guys.
Anybody with a teen digit on their jersey, let's keep it away from them. So that, in all seriousness, goes to, I think, to 20.
Was it 26?
26, Thompson King, who is a running back.
Yeah, we've said his name a couple times tonight on the defensive end. He was that defensive edge holding down the short side of the field.
So the worst starting position for the Knights is, or the Admirals rather, 37-yard line. Man in motion, shotgun out of the pistol. Key Hamilton takes the ball, and he's going to be hit and pushes forward for about 2.
Carries a couple defenders for a gain of about 2 yards, but
small in stature like Tamaska, but not in strength. He pushed a pile forward for a touchdown and pushed about 3 defenders forward there for a gain of 2.
Well, it's usually those small stature guys that have these strongest legs and the hardest to take down.
You got to keep an eye on the outside for Franklin because the tall receiver out there, just a mismatch, scored a touchdown earlier tonight. So there you go, Kia Hamilton again, and he's going to get nowhere this time, maybe a yard. And so just like that, the Knights go down and score a touchdown, and the Admirals find themselves 3rd and 7. In other games, you might say, well, that's a long way to go, but both teams have proven that they can convert on long yardage to go, not afraid to attack through the air or the ground.
This seems to have been the Lucas Young bread and butter. He'll line up at the top of your screen.
Well, the 5-yard out needs to be about an 8-yard out this time. So looking.
Jackson way. He's got another mismatch. Underthrown, though.
Attack the deep side. They came to it on the far side of the field. I mentioned it a couple plays ago. Watch number 7 there. Shorter in stature, but a little bit of an underthrow on the quarterback. He threw from the far hash to the farther side of the field, and that's just a lot to ask for a quarterback. That is a very long throw.
Especially at the high school level, those hashes are extra wide compared to the Sunday hashes.
And so Franklin in an unusual position here to punt. I believe this is just the third punt of the night. And we've seen him roll out. He does it again, gets the punt off. It's a nice one, end over end. Smotherman catches it at about the 29, makes a move. No flags on the play, but brings it out only to the 36, where Nolensville will have a chance to do something they haven't done all night, and that's go up by 2 scores, not 1. And you had mentioned it also at the half. This has kind of been Franklin's MO. Very powerful statement first half, stays in the ball game, and then the second half just kind of a symptom of a young team.
Kind of either fizzle out or a lot of not taking coaching at halftime, making some adjustments. But we'll see if they can put a full 4-quarter effort here or together here tonight.
And so we did see what we saw. The Knights did what they had to do, which they closed down that inside and outside run on Kia Hamilton. And so here we're going to go right back to Tamaska. Makes a couple defenders miss, and like you said, he's good for 2 or 3 just about every time he touches the ball. There he gets about 3.5. And so the Knights are on their own 40.
Second down and 7.
And you have to wonder the psyche of the game. If the Knights do score another touchdown here, how do the Admirals respond? Because when you're 0-4, 0-5, and you're down, you know that. Here we go again, right?
And a lot of these kids on this team were on the 0-9 team last year as well, so they're hungry for a victory. They just need to put it all together and get one. So that's Kia Hamilton. Looks like he's pulling double duty now here in the second half.
Well, and you know that is one of the disadvantages too. You're putting every good Joe in a skill position, and when those players are playing both ways, this is when it starts to matter. Right in the third and fourth quarter, your body's just going to be fatigued.
Especially when you're facing a high-powered offense such as Nolensville. I mean, like we said at the top of the game, they're averaging 40 points a game. It's not a slouch. They're not going to try to grind and pound it out. They're going to try to score as many points as possible.
That's right, and you don't see any Nolensville offensive skill players playing double duty on defense. There you go, Tamaska just again making his hay, breaks it outside from the inside, turns what looked to be a 7-yard gain into about a 17-yard gain. And I don't want to speak this into existence, but the defense for the Admirals is starting to look fatigued.
Yes. You can see the defensive lineman, hands on the hips. They've just been pounding up the middle here the second half.
Well, and the Admirals went 3 and out on offense, not something that they've typically done. So Franklin defense quick to get out onto the field. And like you said, you got Kia Hamilton out there playing on the outside. If I'm the Knights, I'm just running him on a deep route every single play.
That looked like a trick play from the start that did not
trick anybody.
Smotherman's pass incomplete.
Well, they're going to look like they were going to flag him for intentional grounding, but there was definitely a receiver in the area. It met the line of scrimmage, so it doesn't look like this penalty will stick. The officials are discussing it right now.
They are going to
They do flag him for intentional grounding. That's interesting. He was out of the pocket, got to the line of I'm not sure how they call this. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. Or 2nd and 20, rather.
Intentional grounding to call.
Not sure how they make that call. It met all the requirements, but it doesn't matter what we think. In any regard, it's 2nd and about
a lot.
25.
30.
So a huge penalty assessed there on the Knights. Not sure how they got 15. I don't know.
Yeah, so from a
it's usually a spot foul from where the penalty occurs and a loss of down. Here they backed them up 15 yards.
And that's where a trick play went horrible for the Knights.
So Collins, first time he has pressure in his face, and he's going to go down.
With the sack. We said his name quite a bit earlier in the season. Finally gets his first sack of the night. And honestly, the Admirals finally getting their first pressure on Collins.
Well, and even then, that you almost think that's a coverage
sack.
Because he had a good 3 to 4 seconds. It's hard for a lineman to hold a block that long. But to
at the high school level, let alone.
Yes. To Collins' credit, he just takes the sack as he should. He doesn't make a try to make something out of nothing or throw it somewhere. Takes the sack. Let's live to play another down here. So 3rd and most of the field to go here. Throws the inside screen to Tamaska. He's going to get about 10 on the play, but this I don't think is a spot where they're comfortable going for it on 4th and 25.
So a good safe play there. Get Tamaska the ball. Pick up as many yards as you can. See if you can catch a defense sleeping with the screen play. Admirals had it covered decently well, but they'll force the punt.
So huge benefit there on that penalty of the intentional grounding. Just back the Knights up to a first down they could not get. And so we have a punt here. Again, end over end. This is going to be covered pretty well by the Knights. Going to be tackled at about the 30. And so, Justin, I think that's the first time neither side scored on a possession.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Admirals 3 and out, the Knights 3 and out.
And I just go back to that trick play, Doug. You're marching the ball down pretty well down the middle of the field.
What do you need to run that for, right? I mean, they probably could have ran Tamaska 9 times up the middle and scored a touchdown. Like, I'm not sure if it was a design play or if Smotherman just ran out of room and decided he would throw it out. I'm not sure. It looked like a design trick play, but why do you call that up 27-23 when you can kind of pick your poison against this Franklin defense, right?
So Hamilton on the carry in the on first down. It's going to pick up about a yard. The Knights selling out for the run there. Franklin's kind of going to a predictable run on first down, run on second down, and we'll see if we can get Lucas Young on the out route on 3rd down.
Well, and this is going to hurt Hamilton's average because for the last 3 plays he's gotten about 2 yards total.
Yep.
Whereas in the first half he was ripping big gains.
So Admirals go to a 4 wide set. Looks like they're going to have single coverage across the board.
Snap, looking out to the sideline. The pass is going to be dropped. That's going to be number 7 for the Admiral. That's Wills Jackson drops the pass.
So had a great touchdown catch earlier, and then unfortunately drops the first down pass there. So that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Admirals. And if you're Coach Milton, this is what you've been stressing to the team all week. Let's keep in front of the sticks. Let's give ourselves a chance on 3rd down. And once again, second drive of the second half, and they're looking for 9+ yards on 3rd down.
And, you know, the Admirals and the Knights are similar on defense in the fact they generally don't send a lot of pressure. They just go with the 4-man front, but I say that, and then they blitz from the outside, and he's going to be brought down short of the line to gain. Good pressure. The backside linebacker there runs across the field and catches him from behind on what was an outside blitz.
Yeah, Jackson Brandy coming from the outside backer in the 3-4 set the defense is in.
He ran a lot of acreage there to make the tackle, and he gets him from behind. So the Admirals, three and outs here.
Back-to-back 3 and outs. Well, so 3 and out, 3 and out, triple 3 and out.
That's right, 3 and 3 here.
It's like a Wendy's meal.
And so long, short punt that's going to take a Knights bounce. So probably the best field goal or field position for the Knights so far at about the 47-yard line. And so we went from heavy punches to stalled offenses all in a course of about 4 minutes. And I do think,
like we mentioned, Nolensville was self-inflicted 3 and out. Franklin's unable to get anything going here on the offensive end, but
and I'm more concerned on the Franklin side because Nolensville just had a huge 15-yard penalty, whereas Nolensville was just 3 and out. They couldn't make any yardage. Tamaska with the handoff. He's going to get 4, 5, 7, 8 before he's finally tackled.
And he's wearing down this defense for sure. He's getting to the second level. And those guys are like, this guy's coming again.
Coach, I was here 2 weeks ago, and Tamaska hit a defender in the open field, and I swear he turned to dust. And I was like, my gosh, that kid, whatever happened to him? And he's just a hard runner, hard to bring down, and very fast. So 2nd and 2 for this Knights offense. 3 receivers to the bottom side, wide side of the field. Tamaska in motion. It's an option to Tamaska, and a rarity. He's taken down after no gain. Again, they're attacking the perimeter here. You know, if I'm the coach, I'm just beating up that. I'm going to run it until they tell me I can't.
For sure. And that's Gaka pulling double duty once again for the Admirals with the tackle. But, yeah, Tamaska has been untouchable up the middle for 5 or 6 yards. You just kind of wonder the thought process. It might be a setup play, set up the fake, the jet, going down deep for a shot play. We'll see what happens later in the game.
Didn't have to run a play here as the clock was below. Good out route by Smotherman there. He's going to catch it for a first down. And again, Collins looking sharp tonight, throwing dimes on the field.
So great route, great throw, great catch. Picks up the first down for the Knights.
And that is going to be the end of the third. Only one score in the quarter. That's going to go to Nolensville, who took the lead. And that's 27-23. Still plenty of time. All timeouts left for both sides. And this is shaking out to be an exciting finish here.
Nolensville Band would like to recognize Allied Overhead Door as a loyal platinum sponsor. Allied Overhead Door has been serving Middle Tennessee since 1977, earning the experience and expertise to do garage doors right.
So 27-23, the Knights in sole possession of the ball here, threatening to go up 2 scores. And as I said, Justin, the clock not an issue yet with a fresh 12. And the Admirals have been able to score. However, offense for the third quarter, I think they have less than 10 yards total.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's off of 2 possessions.
So trying to find some updates around the county. Looks like start of the fourth quarter up in Brentwood, the Bruins lead the Summit Spartans 13-0 to start the fourth quarter.
You say Brentwood leads 13-0? That's kind of shocking.
Fairview is tied 21 with Cheatham County with 10 minutes left in that game.
Knights on offense. Shotgun, hands off to Tamaska, and the Admirals, something they haven't been able to do all night. 2 times in a row, they stopped Tamaska for no gain. That's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Knights. And so you have to wonder here, Justin, with the clock, if the Knights only given up about 10 yards of offense the second half, if they do punch it in here, what the strategy will be for Franklin being down 2 scores with what will probably be about 8 minutes left on the clock. I think Collins on the read option keep. Gets about
Admirals,
6.
You gotta keep them to at least a field goal here to keep it within striking distance. Coming out in the second half, you've had 2 offensive drives, I believe, stall and 3 and outs. And your defense has been playing most of the second half with your 2 star running backs playing on that defensive squad.
That's right. And so just under 11 minutes to play here. 3rd and an even 5 for the Knights. Smotherman in motion. The handoff to Tamaska, who just drives forward, and that's going to be a first down. Stopped about a yard or 2 short, but just drives forward for a first down.
Good hard run there by Tamaska. Carries about 3 Admirals and 2 Knights with him for a total of 6 yards.
You know, looked from up here, he was tackled a yard past the marker. But they have yet to move the down marker, so I'm not sure.
Flag on the play. Personal foul, face mask.
Oh, that is going to be tough.
Yep.
Flag on the play, face mask, 15 yards. And Franklin is just, you can see the collective air letting out of the balloon on their sideline. Like, this is very familiar for us. So clock running. I'm sure there's no rush here to run a play. Smotherman in motion on jet motion again. On the motion, Smotherman does get the ball. He's going to be tackled and pushed backwards, but he's going to get about 6 on the play. And it's what I said earlier. Every time they run that jet motion, they do hand it off. It'd be curious to see. And they've been stopped on it.
There's got to be a play off of that
That's right.
we either haven't seen or Coach Derrick just doesn't want to put on film for next week for Centennial.
And so 2nd and again about 5, a little bit more. Call it 5.5. Time winding down. We're going to break the 10-minute mark here. Sure, they're in no hurry
No.
to snap the ball.
They're going to use all this play clock down to 5.
My guess is Tomaska or Carano here, and they go with Tomaska, who's going to be brought down after no gain, maybe a yard.
Tomaska, the ball carrier. No
Keep
gain
your
on the
eye
play.
on number 40 here, Carano, who's
Tackled by Genevieve.
the big tight end, goes about 6'3", has 2 touchdowns on the night already.
So it looks like Luke Denman leading the charge there for the Admirals on the interior defensive line, who's got to be gassed at this point in the second half.
Well, it's 3rd and 5 here, and you said a win here is to keep the Admiral or the Knights to a field goal. That would put them up by 7, and they're in field goal range, so you have to wonder if they don't get it on 3rd, do they indeed kick a field goal or do they go for it? So I guess it doesn't matter because Collins is going to have the first down at about the 1-yard line. It's hard to tell with all this soccer paint on the field.
A lot of lines out there.
7 yards on the play.
I'm just looking at the pylon to see if he crossed, and it was awfully close.
That's good for a McLaren Ortho. First and goal.
And that's the
for Knights.
result of just having a good, powerful back. The defense is completely focused and keyed on Tomaska, and Collins had an open running lane there to pick up the first down.
Well, and Ty Collins goes a svelte 6'4", 205, so he's
Not
a
a
mountain to
small fella.
move. That's right. Collins on the snap, hands it off to Tomaska, who blows right into the end zone, almost untouched.
Touchdown.
And that's the nightmare scenario for the Admirals. That's going to push the lead to 10 minus the extra point.
Tomaska with the 1-yard run.
The Admiral
And the
sideline
score.
very quiet right now.
Admirals have quick strike ability, haven't shown it yet tonight, but they're going to have to go to that bag of tricks to see if they can stretch the field with Wills Jackson, Lucas Young on the outside. And
Well, you can't run 5-yard outs down the field right now. You got to get some chunk plays. The field goal or the extra point's up and good.
Black to snap. Layton smother him in the hold. And the extra point is good.
So they're up by 11. And so what that translates into is a touchdown with a 2-point conversion and a field goal.
yeah,
And you got 8.5 minutes to do so.
That rushing touchdown
Giving
was brought
the
to you by
Knights,
your offensive line.
They're going to have at least
tackle,
2
Dylan
offensive
Metcalf.
possessions, barring an
Left guard,
onside
Big
kick
Gray.
or something like that.
Center, Owen Black. Right guard,
So
Hayden
the
Collette.
Admirals are in a tough
And right
position. They're
tackle,
definitely
Cole
going to have a little bit of the football
Thank
luck
you,
sprinkled onto
offensive
their
line,
side of the
for
ball
your
for
support.
sure.
so another quick update around the county. Independence Eagles up in the Hendersonville area visiting Beach, the state runner-ups, I believe, last year, leading 28-0 with 8 minutes left. So Independence looking for back-to-back victories.
This county has seen a lot of quarters of football with the amount of double and triple overtime games that they've had. Indy is battle-tested. I think at one point they had 3 overtime games in a row.
Their first 4 games were
Their
overtime
first 4,
games.
yes. So they've played the equivalent of 9
Yes.
football games already. The Knights back for the kickoff.
I'm expecting another small pooch kick.
The pooch goes up again. The
We got a
26 is
flag.
going to be an
Yeah.
offsides probably.
Flag on the play.
And again, just a special teams mistake. That's right. Offsides on the kicking team. When the whistle blows that quick, it just means that one of the runners ran ahead of the ball before it was kicked.
Do you bring Kia Hamilton up in this situation?
Well, I think if the kicker's smart and he sees that, then he just kicks it deep, right? But I don't know how smart kickers are. And so I don't know. You know, that's a good thought because you're probably going to get more of the same here. You're going to get a squib kick or a pooch kick down the middle to keep it out of his hands. And so who knows? What we do know is he's about to kick. And so there it is. It's going to be a squib to the right side of the field, caught at the 30. Looking to cross the field, probably not a good move. But in any regard, down at the 40.
Got more than I thought he was going to get
when
coming here to the downside of the field.
That's right. When he brought it to the wide side, I was like, oh, it's probably not a good idea. But got some yardage there. They're going to start in good field position. 8:24 left here in the fourth.
So if you're the Admirals, you're going to have to go to the air here in this situation. We've seen a lot of secure, quick, medium routes to Lucas Young, number 3. And then the big reception by Wills Jackson, number 7, for the touchdown. But
they don't have to get crazy, but they do have to get points. And surprisingly there, they go up the middle with Gaka, and they get 2 yards. And it's what they went to up to this point in this half, and there's been nothing there. So that's kind of surprising that he would go back to that play.
So they're going to try to go quick on the ball, a little bit up-tempo here.
Kia Hamilton not on the field on this drive.
Lucas Young line up in the slot.
Passes up to the sideline. Nobody home, not even close. And Justin, I think they have the 5 to 7 yard out route pretty well covered at this point. He had a high safety and the corner on that play that just walled it off. And I don't know that it was catchable.
No, I don't. Yeah, double coverage. Linebacker was floating out there, knew it was coming.
So every drive up to this point, they've been in 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7 in the second half. And this is not what the Admiral offense is built to do.
Yeah, they want to chunk 3 or 4 yards off. They don't want to get behind the sticks in a 3rd and long situation.
Low snap, quick out to number 5. He's going to have the first down. And, I think the Knights are willing to give that kind of play up because he got the first down, but he only got about 6 or 7 yards. And so if they can force them to drain the clock like that, ideally you want to break that up, but that's not an awful play. You didn't give up anything big.
As they teach it in the secondary room, keep everything in front of you at this point.
That's right. Another handoff here inside to 5 Gaka, who's going to be tackled after a gain of about 4 or 5.
So another patient run, but like we said, Doug, tick, tick, tick. When you're down 2 scores, you've either got to have 2 plays called where you can come up and go right away, or you're hoping for more than 5 yards out of that play.
That's right. Now, both teams do have all timeouts. So if you're the Admirals, you're hoping to get points on the board. And even then, if they can score with 3 or 4 minutes left, they don't necessarily have to onside, but they have to 3 and out the Knights.
Yeah.
So big 3rd down here, 3rd and 1. It wouldn't surprise me if they just try to draw them off sides here to get the easy yardage.
We got Kia Hamilton checked back in the backfield.
3 goes in motion out of the pistol formation. Snap is back. Read option to the quarterback. He's going to have the first down, but not much more. Not able to get out of bounds, so that clock is going to continue to run down.
Wilson with the keeper. Gain of 3 yards on the play. First down.
So first down gets a new set of downs for the Admiral, but this drive alone, I think, is taking off 2 minutes in the clock. And
well, this is looking a lot like the first half drives when they had the whole game, and they had success, but just draining the clock. Back to pass. Pass is up, and that is going to be called a catch.
Yeah, I would say coach down there is saying no catch, but
as you would expect. So about
who else but Lucas Young, 6-yard out route.
Second down.
Sets a new Williamson County record. 27 catches for 50 yards. Second and about 3 to go for the Admirals. We're at about the 5.5-minute mark in the 4th quarter.
So Brewer Wilson favoring this short side of the field, not having to stretch his arm, and just on cue, he's going to stretch it out there.
Both defenders looking for the official. It's either going to be an interception
they're going to call
or
it
a touchdown.
Interception.
So interception on the play.
So pass
Justin, usually the tie goes to the receiver. We couldn't see it because it was at the furthest corner away. I couldn't see if the defensive back took it away, but he was definitely in position for the pick.
Regardless,
our video monitor here, not very helpful, as I'm trying to see if there's a replay on there.
Great athletic play by both gentlemen. Essentially a jump ball in the back corner of the end zone, but of course I say Brewer Wilson's favoring the short side of the field, and he tries the hash to the opposite corner
Well,
of the end zone throw.
And you can't fault them there. They needed a chunk play at some point with the clock running down, and now you got to think we need a turnover.
Yep. The tough part is going to be stopping that man right there with the ball.
Just running hard does Tamaska. One man to beat.
The ball carrier. 21-yard gain on the play.
He's going
Tackled by Gacka.
to have a couple extra minutes on
First
the
down for the Knights.
ground there.
So stoppage in play here. Clock stops at 5:17. The Knights up 34-23. Again, the strategy here for the Admirals has got to be, we got to get a strip, we got to get a takeaway.
Yep. So definitely going to be selling out for the run here. Nolensville has been able to get some chunk plays up the middle. You got to think you're going to pinch your defensive linemen, squeeze those outside linebackers, and that'll be the instance where they'll prove me wrong once again and go to the edge of the field.
Well, and Nolensville really in a position here, Justin, to not do anything fancy. All they got to do is hand it off, run time off the clock. And that just like you got 10 on the shot clock. They're gonna run this down to 1, I would imagine, close to 1. Smotherman in motion, Young on the carry, makes multiple defenders miss. Still on his feet, Justin. I don't know how he got 2 yards on that play. He was almost tackled about 7 different times.
Well, and that's been the biggest caveat of the Franklin Admirals defense all night is they're trying to make arm tackles through these hard-nosed runners for Nolensville.
Franklin. That's their first time out of the half.
So I believe Franklin will take their first time out of the half. They need a 3-and-out here to have any chance at making a comeback here.
So a quick fan poll suggests that the Franklin receiver may have maintained possession on that catch. As folks chime in to the WCTV show here, hard to see from our angle.
Can we put a poll out there? A poll on the
just quick fan reaction.
Yeah. Quick updates once again around the county. Brentwood still up 20-0 with 5:50 remaining over Summit. Independence looks like they're going to notch another win, leading 28-7 over Beach. And that will be a false start, I'm assuming.
Flag came quick. Not sure if somebody wasn't set or not sure what that call is. Illegal substitution on the offense.
Got 12 guys. Can't do that.
Well, they were beating them with 11, so I'm not sure.
So we're getting all kinds of reviews. On
all kinds of commentary here. Regardless, what we have is a 34-23 ball game. Knights with possession. Handoff again up the middle. Oh!
Shoestring tackle.
He was a shoestring away from 6 points. So B.J. Mays in giving Tamaska a breather. Tamaska checks back in. Good sign for the Knights.
Thompson King with the shoestring tackle at his linebacker position. Keeps life for the Admirals, but as the Nolensville Knights continue to march down the field with this run game, the chances are dwindling and dwindling.
Well, and the more time goes off the clock, the more you don't need a turnover, you need a miracle. And there's 4 minutes left, down by 11 points, and the Knights are just running the football as they should. Back to Tamaska, up the middle he goes. Gets about 4 or 5 on the play.
And you can almost tell that Admirals defense has just had enough of the ground and pound by Tamaska. Not coming at him as aggressive as they did in the first half and just accepting the blow on defense rather than going after it.
Well, and so you're just under 4 minutes. It's second and about 6. And the Admirals down to their final timeout here. And so you got to think, if the Knights get another first, it's probably all she wrote for the night, because they're just going to run the ball, take it down to almost nothing, and go to Sonic afterwards and celebrate.
Sonic. Is there one on the way?
There's only one show in town in Nolensville, Justin. Typically. There are actually several lovely locations to eat down Nolensville Road, but the Sonic seems to be a bit of a kids' hangout. All right, so here we are, second and about 6. Ty Collins, not to be confused with Kerry Collins at quarterback, hands it off again to Tamaska. Tamaska finds a seam. He's going to be ridden down at about the 25, and that might just be it for the night. One timeout left on the Admiral sideline, but that's a fresh set of downs.
King once again.
First down for the night.
Tamaska showing no ill effects from coming out earlier. Checks back in and gains about 17, 18 yards on that play.
So they're a touchdown away from their average.
I don't know if they're going to reach for it tonight.
Yeah.
Be classy here. 2 players on the Knight side that really stuck out tonight, Ty Collins and Zion Tamaska. Just play after play. Collins really sharp on the night from the QB position. And Tamaska, just as he does, puts on his hard hat and goes to work.
Absolutely.
Ran hard. And then for Franklin, few players, of course, Key Hamilton sticks out as just a burner. Just not able to do much in the second half.
Yeah, Lucas Young probably had 12, 13 receptions, sure-handed, wasn't able to bring one down when the Admirals needed it most.
And then Wills Jackson caught the deep ball in the corner of the end zone. And to their credit, they did go back to that a couple times, but it was much better played. Those second one resulted in an incomplete, and one resulted in a much criticized interception.
So we've seen the Franklin Admirals on our WCTV Game of the Week handful of times now this year, just unable to really put a full 4-quarter effort in. Like we said at halftime, they looked like the more disciplined,
well, they were leading at halftime.
Team. Yeah,
leading at half, 23-20.
Coach
Unfortunately,
Miller just trying to get his squad over the hump there, coming out in halftime.
Nolensville added 14 the second half. The Admirals added 0. Smotherman still running hard, goes down inbounds. Smart play. If you looked at the end, he stopped and went down before he went out of bounds. So gains 1, but is going to run about 40 seconds off of the clock.
Third down.
Next play will bring us under 2 minutes in the ball game. A first down here brings up 3 kneel downs, Coach, and then we'll call it an early night here. Fast football game, 9:16 here on the clock. Knights line up, 3rd and 5. A first down for all purposes ends the game. Just go in the victory formation. Smotherman in motion. Handoff goes to Tamaska, who's going to be stopped short.
Well, yeah, he was stopped at the line, but it took more than just one guy to bring him down.
Not a generous spot there by our line officials. Looked like he moved the pile forward about another yard but got pushed back. 4th down here, clock's running. They'll be able to get it to about 1:20. So you just got to guess they're going to run another play here on the ground.
Probably okay turning it over deep in the territory. And
it's going to be hard to get 11 points in a minute.
So looking ahead to next week's action, we'll be traveling down 65 over 840 to Independence as they take on Ravenwood, which should be a very great matchup.
Big inter-county matchup there. 2 powerhouses.
It'll be a
good test for Ravenwood also.
Might be Ravenwood's first region game. if I'm correct.
Ravenwood has logged, I believe, the most miles traveled by a Williamson County football team up to this point.
That Coach Hester might say that's what happens when no one wants to play you.
When you have to travel to, West Tennessee, East Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama to find teams that you want to play, that is correct. Not a lot of competition in this area wants to square off against
one of the better programs, historic programs.
That's right. A regular in the state playoffs, deep playoff runs, state championship in recent years. Nolensville hoping to unseat them as the Tennessee powerhouse in Williamson County, although Ravenwood's 6A.
I was going to say, Nolensville will have a tough track this year with Page and Centennial in their region. I mean, probably three of the most favorites for 5A state champions in the same region.
Quick pass out. That's going to be complete to Smotherman, out of bounds, but that's a first down, and that's going to end the ball game. There's a minute 20 on the clock.
10-yard gain on the play.
2 victory formations away from a ball game here. Nolensville might run one more play here and then just kneel it down. Overall, though, impressed by both of these squads. Good game. Good game tonight. Fun to watch. Credit to the visiting Franklin Admirals. Just gave all they could.
Absolutely.
And Nolensville was probably a 2-touchdown favorite in this game, and it was pretty close to that. But the Admirals, again, leading at halftime.
Just weren't able to come out in the second half and string together those drives that they did in the first half, getting those 3 and 4 yards on first down, getting ahead of the sticks, and putting Brewer Wilson in a better position rather than the long third downs. And credit Nolensville defense. They really just stuffed the middle of that offensive line with the Admirals.
Well, made the necessary adjustments at halftime, because when you look at the offense for Franklin in the second half, I don't know that they have more than 50 yards of offense in the second half. And they closed down the running lanes inside, and the 5-yard outs, they just couldn't continue that down the field. And, of course, the big interception, the much contested interception there that ended the hopes for the Admirals.
So, games tomorrow, big game down in the swamp.
That's right. I mean, is there UT playing somebody this week? Big game against the Florida Gators. Titans take on the San Angeles Chargers.
Your Commodores out in Vegas.
Takes the knee in victory formation.
Yep. Of course, you're going to bring up the Commodores here tonight, Justin. And just like that, the kneel down is going to take us down to 3 zeros on the clock. Big win for the Knights, and what we knew would be a little bit closer than some might say. Your final here in Nolensville, Knights 34, Franklin Admirals 23. The Knights are going to remain undefeated. Good win, good night of football. Have a good weekend, folks. I'm Doug Capella, Justin Ventline here, your WCTV Game of the Week.
Nolensville will be at Centennial